In this section, we're going to get our Android simulator up and running so we can develop an app that will work on both iOS and Android. Remember, this is one of the core tenets of React Native. We can write a code base that can be deployed on either platform, iOS or Android, with little or no differences between the two code bases. So I've found that installing the Android simulator can be really a pain in the rear. The setup process that we're going to go through is identical to the process that's documented on the React Native site. So let's search for React Native. Click on the documentation here. We'll click on Docs at the top hand. And then on the left-hand side, you'll see Android setup here. So as we go through the rest of this section here, in the next 4 or 5 videos, we're going to be going through this Android setup here, and it very closely matches the guide right here, all these steps you see here. So if you get lost at any point in time, you can absolutely check out these steps here. You know, the steps that we're going to be taking are nearly identical. Well, they are identical. But I also want to say that if anywhere during the Android setup, something is just plain not working, don't sweat it. You can always continue in the Xcode simulator just as we've been doing in the previous sections. So if you are having a tough time with the Android setup, really, I encourage you to go give a shot with Xcode instead to actually build the application. You can always come back to the Android setup later on and build the completed application. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to bring up my terminal here, and we're going to go ahead and generate our project here using the command line React Native tool. So I'll say React Native init, and we're going to call this application just authentication. So while this runs, we're going to go ahead and get started with the Android setup as well. I'm going to come back over to my browser here, and we're going to start with step 1, which is to install the Android SDK. So even if you think that you might have already installed some of this stuff, I highly encourage you to run through it again. There may have been updates, there may have been changes. You never know what the differences are between the version that you have installed and the latest version. So step 1 is to install the latest JDK. The JDK is the Java Development Kit. So it's a bunch of Java software development tools that we're going to install onto your system. So I'll go ahead and click the link. It's going to take me to oracle.com. And you'll find at the top here, Java Development Kit version 8 downloads. If we scroll down just a little bit here, you'll see that there's a version 8U65, 8U66. If you see, if you're watching this sometime down the line and you see newer versions here, no problem. Go ahead and just grab the latest version. I'm going to find the version for my particular operating system, which is Mac OS 64. And I'm going to make sure to accept the license agreement ahead of time. And then I'm going to go ahead and click the link here and start the download up. Okay, so once that installer downloads, we'll go ahead and click through all the prompts and agree to the license agreement. Just to keep you from having to wait, I'll catch you in the next section when that download is done.